on, but I will bring them back in just a moment. Anyway, guys, it's time. Let's start the show. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the PiG Daily, episode number 64. It's ICYFAR Tuesdays if you're in North America, and Europe, Wednesday morning here in Australia. And today we're going to be looking at some epic comebacks. Before we start with this week's challenge, so let's announce the challenge for next week. It is going to be Worker Massacre. Send in your replays where a lot of workers die. The more brutal, the better. The more, if they're dying on both sides and everyone's losing workers and there's harassment and crazy fighting going on, the more the better. Send your replays in to eonblue95@gmail.com. The information is down below in the YouTube description. If you're watching on YouTube, just click in underneath the information at the bottom of the video. That'll pop open. It'll have a link there and some information about where to send that. And it's also there in Twitch chat as well. So thank you very much, guys. Let's dive straight into today's show. Let's not dilly-dally. Let's look at some epic comebacks. All right, guys, so we have a very special game to start off with here. It is going to be a 4 versus 4. And this is not something we get to see every day. This is also one where we're not going to really use the production tab, and that's the reason why we'll glance at it every now and then, but that thing's going to cover half the screen. So let's take a look around and let's look at these two teams. So up here, I believe these guys are all in the same clan. It is FBTD. And over here is Najin. And spawning up to the left of him, his bro, it is Stargazer. Going for a super fast double gas before gate. Oh man, someone's rushing DTs, hey. Up here, we have FBTD and Nocturne, not Nocturne. Alright, gonna be going for that fast pull and gas. And his buddy over here, it is Blade. You guys like hanging out in the club with vampires, blood spraying out of the ceiling? This guy is gonna be your friend. Oh, he's got the pylon in the front there. Ooh, Blade's already scouting around. Oh, Blade just stole the gas. He's already being cheeky. And Tyrone here is like, I want my gas, son. He's just going to pull his entire probe line to get rid of that assimilator. He will get rid of it, but losing a lot of mining time for it. Is Blade going to cancel? Is he going to cancel? No, he does let it finish, but still well worth it to waste all of that mining time. Up here, Toy Story building a spawning pool after going hatch first. So Toy Story Zerg from Team Lib for Ev. Are these guys in the team as well? Yes, they are. So Lib for Ev, Tyrone. Lib for Ev, Toy Story Zerg. Who else we got down here? Lib for Ev, Excite Dan. Oh, Dan's excited. And Lib for Ev, Pamunky. All right. So PTZP. So 2 Protoss, a Zerg, and a Terran on the south. And in the north, we've got Zerg, Protoss, Zerg, Protoss. So no Terran on the north, no siege tanks for you guys, but the fighting is already going to be starting with Nocturne coming across with this very early spawning pool rush, and he's going to be going straight for the hatch first. Oh, Toy Story Zerg in so much trouble. There isn't a lot out to help right now. Excite Dan's coming over with a single Marine, but I can tell you what, man, 1 Marine, yeah, you don't beat 6 Zerglings. Get out of there, man. He's running away. He's going to try and build a bunker at his own expansion, try and defend that. More and more Zerglings are coming across. A Zergling speed is also almost finished here for Nocturne. And, I mean, what do we have to defend? I think Toy Story Zerg's just going to have to sacrifice that expansion, starting to put down spines in the mineral line, or at the main base to try and defend. And what do we got here? Tyrone putting down a Stargate. Going to need to try and get an Oracle out very early. And Nocturne, though, he's got Zergling speed kicking in. He's coming into the main base here. Oh, nice overcharge there. Does fend those Zerglings off, but gets a good surround on the slow Zerglings and starts to already focus down these spines. Nocturne starting to do some sick damage right now. Both spine crawlers are going to go down. The mothership core is going to come over. It's going to try and defend this with the queen. Those 2 slow Zerglings of Toy Story actually doing a really good job here. I think he's finally going to clean this up, but loses the spines, loses his natural, and loses the queen. That's a lot of damage there. Tough situation there for Toy Story Zerg. What's Pamunky going? Pamunky's going for Void Rays. Oh, wow. Wait, these guys have 2 players building Void Rays? Oh, no. They're gonna mass up the Void Rays twice as quick. And we've even got armor coming down for one of these guys. Wait, who's upgrading armor? Wait, he's building Void Rays as well. There's 3 players building Void Rays. Oh my god. But Stargazer's gonna have some sick armor upgrades on his Void Rays, so he's gonna be doubly Doubly awesome in his position. Oh man, these guys aren't letting up with the aggression. Blade coming across with these stalkers. More Zerglings flooding in here for Nocturne. Those spines went down. There's nothing here to defend. He's actually going to focus on this spawning pool. Oh, it's getting dangerously low. Here comes the Void Ray, Zealot, Mothership Core, a couple Zerglings as well. They are going to try and save this spawning pool, but I don't think they're going to be in time. And the spawning pool dies. Nocturne with a little bit of a nice pick off there. And at the same time, Najin on the other side of things. These Zerglings getting some fierce map control right now. Uh-oh. Things are starting to look really hard for our players down here in the south. The Zerglings, oh, there we go. That one does get cleaned up. The hatchery does stand, but there's more Stalkers warping in and more Zerglings coming in from behind this. I think the Void Rays might be coming across the map soon as well. Oh, no, it's not time for the Void Ray party just yet. +1 weapons for both Void Ray players on the south side of the map is happening. Stim and more barracks desperately trying to get up for our Terran player here. Our one Terran player this game, but uh-oh. Toy Story Zerg loses a hatchery again. Oh no! And it looks like Tyrone's only Void Ray dies. The other one comes out, but these Stalkers are just going to focus it down. The Zerglings and Stalkers just wrecking face right now. Goodbye, entire probe line. Every single worker disappears. All the production is depowered here as well. And this is a fantastic rush out of our North players. Man, what are they going to do? Toy Story is trying to build a few slow Zerglings desperately, but there's just too many units. Excite actually has had his macro untouched this whole time, so he's up at 32 workers, way bigger than anyone else's economy. Actually, no, Pamunky as well, also at 35 probes. So, not too bad, but, I mean, their two allies over here are just completely destroyed. Pamunky is going to come in with the Void Rays, try and pick off some of these Zerglings before they get overwhelmed as well, but there's more and more Stalkers warping in. The Void Ray fleet coming across from Stargazer as well. Tyrone here is like, oh, man, I just got wrecked. But, oh no, Pamunky! Void Rays in the open, Void Rays in the open! Nice focus fire from the Stalkers, but the Void Rays pull back, do survive for the moment. They're going to try and keep Toy Story Zerg's life alive for now, but here we go. It looks like these Stalkers coming over here, they did cop a big Widowmine shot. There are Medivacs here healing with the Void Ray flank from behind. Actually, nice Void Ray flank. Does lose these Void Rays, but kills almost all of the Stalkers for it. And, I mean, Excite Dan and Pamunky here. They're trying to mount a desperate last stand. Void Ray's coming in though, getting right on top of the production. Stargaze is going to dive in on top, going to try and depower these Stargates and cut off that Void Ray production. But these Marines there, they are going to stim in on top of this. Pamunky has also left the game. It is a 2v4 right now. Oh, actually, no, this is Pamunky. Oh my gosh. Okay, it is just Excite Dan. Excite Dan is the only player left in the game. Toy Story Zerg is out. Tyrone over here is out, and Pamunky just left as well. So it's just Excite Dan here, who kind of got ignored in the early stages and had this sick macro to build up this third command center. He's got 5 barracks production going already, going up to 7 barracks production actually. But uh-oh, big Zergling counterattack going to come in here, going to try and catch off a lot of his workers. And, ooh, I mean, some nice Widowmine shots, but Excite Dan's taking a lot of damage, losing his entire mineral line on his natural. He's just going to push for the damage. He's trying to dive on in here, takes out a Queen and a bunch of Zerglings, hasn't lost any of these Marines yet. He's going to be starting to overwhelm. What is there to defend this? A few Stalkers and Zerglings working their way back. These guys, have they been too greedy after killing those 2 players? In terms of the workers, they're all up at these pretty healthy worker counts, but there's just not that many fighting units for them. He's got these Void Rays mixed in with his army as well to help fight any armored units. Stalkers are coming from behind along with Zerglings though. Excite Dan is getting deep inside the enemy base, intercepts a Void Ray up there. The Stalkers coming in from behind though, he's going to turn around. They're trying to focus fire his Void Ray. The Marines with this stim and with those Medivacs just endlessly healing, they can just stim for days. Excite Dan, he's patient, he's stayed in the game. And I think he's actually making an epic comeback happen. Oh, this is sick. Right now, he did... Oh, okay, he's got mining for Pamunky, but he doesn't really have much else going on behind this. He's just building a few Marines at a time. Remember, he had to lift his natural, which was really harsh for him. He's actually going to land his 3rd command center there now, but he's wrecking Stargazer. Stargazer is the guy who's building double Void Rays, keep in mind. So there's going to be no more Void Rays, but here we go. That's a lot of Roaches and Stalkers. I don't know if there's enough Marines here to take this on. That Void Ray does go down. It's just Marines. The Medivacs are almost completely out of energy, but it looks like he might just barely have enough Marines. Choose through the Roaches. The Stalkers are starting to go down. There's still a Void Ray in the sky, and with nothing to shoot up anymore, these Roaches are going to disappear. The Marines, the Void Ray actually just overwhelming everything. Live forever. Excite Dan, bringing in more Marines from the south as well. And this is so sick. You know, it looked like he was getting wrecked. Two of them just died so fast at the start. And then it's like, no, actually, you know what? I was just macroing for the first 5 minutes of this game without taking any damage. I have 3 times your production, and I have all the upgrades and tech I need. And now, even with only this few Marines left, if there isn't a critical massive defensive units, they're going to get out of control. These Marines taking down these last few Stalkers. Oh, more Roaches are coming down. I think, oh, these Marine numbers are getting awfully low. The medevac energy is almost completely out. But that Void Ray is the big problem. It's still just sitting overhead, dishing out more and more damage. But with these Stalkers coming in, this might just barely be enough units for Blade to finally hold this. The Void Ray does go down. The Marine's still healing. But there we go. The Reinforcer Marines comes on up. And it looks like this base of Blade is going to be going down. What have they got left behind this? I mean, this fight's just going to go on and on. The Roaches and Stalkers are going to keep trying to defend. I don't know, though. He keeps warping in so many Stalkers. These Marines are constantly getting whittled down. But, oh, it looks like there's even more Marines coming up. There's so many medevacs. Every Marine has its own personal medevac right now. But I think there's just too many Stalkers and Roaches here. Finally, Excite Dan's army is going to get overwhelmed. And, uh-oh. Excite Dan's medevac's just floating out here in the open. The Stalker's starting to work on them. These more Marines are coming up, but I think they need to regroup. They need to pull together. The Widow Mine gets a nice shot off, but for now, Excite Dan needs to pull back. He's re-established his natural. Power Monkey's still got a tiny bit of mining on his natural. A couple Void Rays are hanging around, but what can Excite Dan do? He's added on extra starports, and it looks like he's adding Liberators in now. On the other side of the map, Nocturne actually going to be getting Swarmos out to throw some free units at his opponents. Najin massing Banelings here to try and deal with those Marines. What's the economy looking like, though? If we look at the economy tab, we see here 1,300 minerals a minute there. It was for Excite Dan, way higher than everyone else. They're all down at 500 to 800 minerals a minute. So they are all together mining a lot more, but they need to coordinate really well because this is still a scary bunch of Marines, most importantly with 10 medevacs healing up above them. There are Swarm Hosts, there's a few Roaches, there's so many Banelings, but with no Baneling speed and stim, it's going to be hard to connect, and there are still a few Stalkers over here as well. It looks like, oh, that Widow Mine grabs a Stalker there. Very nice pick off. Oh, man. Oh, where are those Banelings? Where are those? Banelings are on the right. Okay, Swarm Hosts on the left, Banelings on the right. He's pushing in with some of his Marines, setting up a position down here with the Widow Mine. Oh, Banelings! Banelings coming in from the side there, and they actually clean up all of those Marines. Oh, no. Dan was not watching there. He's going to pull back his medevacs, but oh, no, he's getting flanked. There's Banelings on the right. Nice Widow Mine shot, but he just doesn't have enough units to defend the Locusts and the Banelings. Nice Marine splits here coming in, but the Banelings end up hitting, connecting, and there goes all of his army. He's got a few Void Rays up there. Actually, oh man, those Stalkers walked into the Liberation Zone, and with the overcharged Void Rays over top as well, they did some pretty sick damage. Void Rays of Stargazer are coming in though. They're going to be able to take out at least 1 or 2 of these. Here come the medevacs, but medevacs cannot heal Void Rays. Is this Void Ray going to survive? Just barely. Power Monkey still with 2 Void Rays alive and going to be taking out this very crucial expansion. Keep in mind, the resources are almost completely out here for our northern team. Only Blade mining on this base over here has a fresh base. Oh, those Stalkers. Looks like these Stalkers did come in and finally clean those Void Rays up, but there's more and more Liberators right now. If the Liberators can just set up destruction zones, freedom zones, and clean up everything on the ground, and the Marines can clean up the air, then this will work out really well. Banelings do come in there, but uh-oh. Oh my god, Excite Dan. This guy is dogged. This guy is absolutely dogged. He's just gonna set up those lib zones. He's just gonna deny this base. Cuts down the mining here for these guys. Those Marines stim forward, bait out the Locusts and the Roaches, but the Liberators are just gonna jump on top of everything, I think. And these freedom zones are blasting them down. The Stalkers managed to get 1 lib, but so many of them go down. The Void Rays come in from behind, but the Marines are right on top of that. There's only 2 Marines left. The Liberators have to swap out of freedom mode into the regular rocket mode. And the Void Rays actually hold once again. The northern team just barely hangs on. Stargazer keeps the expansion alive. Stargazer's only got 13 probes right now, though. This Widow Mine over here, an absolute hero. Finally, the Overseer is going to clean that up. But the real big thing that's keeping Excite Dan alive here is he just keeps expanding. The other guys on the north are really struggling to keep up with the engagements while fighting at, while expanding at the same time. But Excite Dan's moved up here, even though there is a pylon blocking it. He's going to be mining those gold minerals at a bit of a distance. And he's going to keep on building these Marines and Liberators. Meanwhile, these guys are running really low on money. Storm is finished for Blade, though. Does have 4 High Templar gathering energy. These Swarm Hosts as well can keep throwing free units. Those are some of the big problems for Dan at this point. And it looks like these Swarm Hosts do want to try and find an angle to get aggressive. Those Swarm Hosts just need to be very careful not to die. He sees the Liberators and Marines. Najin sees exactly what's going on. Still 2 Void Rays building at a time up here for Stargazer. He's got quite a fleet. If he fights combined with the other units and just focus fires these Liberators, they're going to disappear so fast. But here we go. Oh, beautiful maneuver here from Nocturne. Using that map vision, he knows the army's on the right, so he's going to throw these Locusts from the left-hand side right onto this gold base. At the same time, though, Marines are going to snipe down Najin's base at home. Nocturne's going to grab a bit of damage here, though. Lots of SCVs going down. Might even be able to get that Orbital Command Center. Oh, no! Orbital Command Center goes down to that insane Locust damage. But once again, Excite Dan's on the base, and oh, he's found the Void Rays! Finds the Void Rays on their own, jumps on top of them, and just rips them apart. This is so sick, man. Excite down here. He's going to set up libs in the main base as well. Lots of Banelings, actually. He's going to have to be really careful with his Marines. That's a lot of Banelings, even without speed. They have the potential to kill all of his Marines if he's not super well split up. There we go. The Banelings are coming in. Oh, no. Stormlands on the left-hand side. Banelings running in from the right. Those Marines need to spread. He's trying to spread desperately. Oh, but actually does manage to keep a few Marines alive. The Liberators in the main have killed off the last of the units there. This expansion goes down. But Nocturne secured another expansion there. Blade still got that expansion. And finally, our northern team is expanding down this left-hand side of the map. It's still 2 guys, Nocturne and Blade, up against Excite Dan. Excite Dan's finally managed to kill off 2 of the players, Najin and Stargazer, all on his own in this 1v4. He's brought it down to a 1v2. But these guys have an economy now, and they have Storm. But those Liberation Zones doing a great job. Those Templars just can't come forward. They're going to try and dive on in. The Stalker's trying to focus fire the Liberators, but there's just too many. Oh, the High Templar and the Stalkers just get torn apart by the Freedom. There's like 5 Marines left in this army, but the Liberators are just doing work right now, blasting every single drone. All those units go down. More Marines coming in from the south. Oh, the Stalkers go for a blink-in. 2 Liberators go down. 3 Liberators go down. But there we go. Every single Stalker disappears. Excite Dan has made it happen. He's even got these Void Rays from Parmonkey left over there. The Swarm Hosts down here are being a right pain in the ass for him. But he's rallied his bio over. He's going to be able to absorb that. He's still got a bit of mining up at home. Meanwhile, this is Blade's last hope. This Dark Templar Shrine is his last chance. There's next to no orbital energy back home right now. Stargazer gives up, throws in the towel. That was our Void Ray player in the north in the top right. Looks like Blade's trying to micro as desperately as he can, but these Marines are on top of it. And now the mineral line's exposed. As soon as those Marines get in there, this is going to be going down so fast. Uh-oh, he's spotted the DT Shrine, but 5 DTs are already warping in. Does he have scans? DT's coming in. They're going to start to kill these Marines. The DT Shrine will survive for now. He just needs to spread those DTs out. Otherwise, one concentrated scan might kill everything. Excite Dan. He's got plenty of bio here, but does he have the scans? I don't think he does. Uh-oh, the DTs are just starting to tear everything apart. So much bio going down. There we go. He does have a scan. Loses a lot of bio, but he's going to get 4 DTs for his trouble. Roaches get blasted by the Liberators. The bio's getting in here. Gonna focus down that Dark Shrine after killing these Roaches. Getting the last bastion of economy. Back at home, he's still got that base, mining a bit of resources. These Swarm Hosts desperately trying to get some work done, but they're just not quite able to do it. Oh, catches 4 DTs with 1 scan. Massive pickup. Meanwhile, these Locusts finally going to finish off Parmonkey's economy down here in the bottom right, but I think it's just a little bit too late. Nocturne getting some good damage out of these 3 units, but his teammates just not quite able to coordinate well enough to take on the Marine Liberator Army of Death. These Void Rays on the right still chilling. Looks like Najin's still in this game, trying to long-distance mine and build some Zerglings to help out. But that's such a big ball of Marines right now. Things are getting really tough. And it looks like he's even been adding Void Rays and Oracles on out of Parmonkey's production. Excite Dan's got to feel like a hero at this point. His 2 allies in the bottom left got rushed. They got completely wrecked. His teammate just gave up and threw the towel in, but he stayed in the game. He made Marines, he made Liberators, he counterattacked hard, and even though he got held, like three of his counterattacks got held before finally he managed to break through and start killing players. And yet, at the end of it, he just stayed strong, he kept expanding, kept making Marines and Liberators, and that's actually sick. That's one of those games you feel so proud of. I saw the title 1v4 comeback, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it's one of those games where, like, your teammates leave, but they've already built a big army, and you just kind of box it, add it to your army, and A move and kill everyone, and you're like, yeah, what a comeback. It's like, well, actually, you had more units, just your teammates disconnected. But that was actually a legitimately awesome comeback, so that was pretty sick. I'm impressed. Color me impressed and excited. Not every day you see that as well. Normally, it's like, if that happens, sometimes that does happen in team games, where you've got, like, the one guy who gets ignored while everyone else is rushing each other, and you're like, oh no, I'm only like 1 versus 2, but I have a 50 drone economy and full 3-base production, and they've got like 12 drones because they've just been building Zerglings all game or something like that. But that was a game where they actually built up a decent little bit of economy and stuff. But he just kind of kept catching those Void Rays apart and just kind of catching the slow banelings on one side, the Stalkers on the other. And that North team just couldn't coordinate well enough against the fierce freedom fighting power of those guys. So guys, let's dive on into the next game, our next epic comeback, and let's take a look at it. So I don't know who submitted the replay. I don't know who will be coming back. It looks like we do have a TVT spawning down here in the bottom right hand side. Our red Terran player from clan Sinram. It is Forget. Doesn't forget to build his depot. Clearly a better Terran player than me. And his opponent up here in the top left hand side, our blue Terran player. It is Lilu. Now, of course, Frozen Temple, TVT, pretty common map for a lot of Reaper aggression, because this cliff is so long, and you can jump anywhere on that whole length. You can jump up and down with Reapers. However, both players are opting for a gas-first build to start things off into that barracks. So both players went for the gas nice and early. Might be going for very fast factories. Maybe Reaper Hellion openings for both players could be the order of the day. I like the comment in chat. The downside of that last match is, even as epic as it was after that game, there were 7 very angry people and 1 very happy person. Exactly. Like, it's funny because his teammates gave up as well. But that game really teaches you to like never give up, never surrender. Like, if your teammates get wrecked by a rush, there's a good chance your opponent sacrificed a lot of economy to make it happen. So if you've been like building your economy at the same time, getting up some tech and stuff, like you can make some cool stuff happen. Looks like it's going to be Reaper on the way here for Lilu, while on the other side, Forget's just going Marine into a really fast factory. Both players going double gas. So both players really want to play very aggressive in the opening minutes of this. And looks like, yeah, Lilu's going to be going for that factory as well. So if Lilu builds a second Reaper here, I think he's just going to be going like multiple Reapers and Hellions, just get across the map and be aggressive. Meanwhile, Forget actually going a tech lab on the barracks. I think this might be a Cyclone opening, which can actually be pretty good against Reaper Hellion if you don't get that Cyclone focus down. That can work out really well. Ooh, a second factory as well. Okay, this is sick. Sinram going for some mech opening. I think it's going to be like Hellion Cyclone or something like that. Yeah, the factory swaps onto the tech lab. Let's see. Is it just a siege tank, or is it going to be what I was expecting? Cyclone, 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 Cyclone. Woo! All right, we got some Cyclones on the way. Going to be interesting when he gets 100 gas. Does he start mag field? Does he do it? Yeah! Yeah! Ooh. Mag field accelerator. That takes it up so the lock-on does like 800 damage. Over 14 seconds or whatever the lock-on is, just does insane damage to armored units. Meanwhile, back here, Starport going down, and there's going to be Reaper Hellion, as I predicted. So it's going to be, yeah, like there's going to be a point where you've got like 3 Reapers and 1 or 2 Hellions. We have a very strong potential push timing. He's going to come down here, catch the Marine. Forget does see this coming. He's only got that 1 Cyclone out right now, so he's got to be really careful to keep this Cyclone behind the wall. Yeah, he's going to try and use the high ground to try and defend as best he can. But if they get in, then things could get very bad. So there we go. Ooh, very nice. He's going to lock on, do a little bit of a poke on that Hellion. Doesn't do a massive amount of damage. Lilu drops the scan and goes, whoa, what is this? It's actually double Cyclone production. This is sick. Forget's going to be going for a command center behind this as well. And Lilu here with his Hellion Reaper pressure really not going to find any damage. Going to be going for his own command center behind it, as well as into a Tech Lab starport. However, I'll tell you what Banshees aren't good against. Lots of Cyclones locking on and just instantly blasting them out of the sky. So that's going to be pretty tough. Forget coming out here. Doesn't spot the Hellions and Reapers on that right-hand side, though. Oh, man. Are they going to, like, run in and hit the wall? Or maybe run in through the lower depot? Either way, Lilu's going to be really bare at home if he doesn't see this coming. He's got one Reaper that's going to spot these Cyclones coming up, but they're just going to blast it down almost instantly. That Reaper goes down, only tickles one of these Cyclones. And now what have we got at home? This Siege Tank's going to be popping out soon, but those Cyclones are going to be already doing a bit of damage. They're diving right up onto the wall. They're going to be able to take down these depots so damn quickly. Meanwhile, those Hellions and Reapers... Oh, the Reapers did dive in. They've slowed down the command center building. He's actually forced the Cyclones home just with that. Aha! Oh my god, the Reaper counterattack here is actually doing so much damage. He just killed 4 workers. He's going to get a 5th worker. That's pretty sick. Nice damage. Pulls those Cyclones home, and now he's got the Siege Tank up, covering that ramp. So, good defense here by Lilu. He is getting Cloaked Banshees. Keep in mind... Oh, those Hellions go down as well. But, there we go. There are already turrets on the way, and with the second orbital it'll be coming out, as well as these Cyclones, it's going to be kind of tough for Banshees to work. However... Because there's not going to be that many scans, they might be able to just kind of force the Cyclones to run home. This Banshee working its way around the south of the map, going to be going in to get into a harassment position, already queued up to stop just down here and then come on into those minerals. 6 mag-field Cyclones are coming up. They are going to be able to delay this expansion for a long time, actually. Oh! One Cyclone goes down, another one already almost down on just 4 hit points. However, if he locks onto this orbital, he can just blast that out of the sky. You got to be careful! Lilu! Lilu, you got to be careful, man. If they lock onto that, it is going to disappear. Oh my god, 5 lock-ons. Oh god, that orbital is just dead, man. Oh, gross. Lilu taking the massive hit there. And that's what the Cyclone power is all about. You can just blast structures down so quickly, man. The Banshee comes in, does manage to get 2 kills. Oh, does get out of that turret radius as well there. So nice little bit of harassment here from Lilu. And still, double Cyclone production. Forget's just like, let's just keep massing Cyclones, mate. I'm going to take a natural behind this. I'm going to add a starport. I'd love to see an extra factory with a reactor to just pump out Hellions to use the excess minerals, as well as maybe a 3rd command center. But either way, this is a sick build from Forget. Meanwhile, Lilu only just started rebuilding that command center, desperately trying to just sit back with this Marine tank, so confused about what he's facing. He's like, what the hell is this? What do I do against this mass Cyclone stuff? He's coming down. Uh-oh. Those tanks need to be sieged. The Cyclones, they see they're on siege. They're going to dive on in. He's going to lock onto the medevac, actually takes that out. Does lose a Cyclone for it, though. Would have been good if he locked onto a few different units there. Might have grabbed a siege tank or 2 for his trouble. It only takes about, I think, 3 seconds, maybe about 3 seconds for a Cyclone lock on to kill a siege tank, so maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but nonetheless, Siege Tank's transition is coming out at home for Forget. He's got the reacted starport coming down as well. Gases on the natural are going down, and these Cyclones just continuing to roam on about. Even going to take down these rocks, preparing a push path for later on. That's going to be pretty sick. Good reaction from Lilu. Double Marauder production. Knows that he's up against a mech-heavy style. What's he seen? He has seen both factories, and he's seen, yeah, he knows that there's a command center. So he's got a pretty good idea of what's going on. The Banshee is still down here. I think he only ever built the 1 unless one got snapped out of the sky. But he's got that which can come in later and try and be annoying. Meanwhile, it looks like Viking and Siege Tank production. It's very important to have Vikings with mech, because otherwise the medevacs can just drop right on top of your army and they can just kind of constantly counterattack and fly around. But it looks like Lilu's deciding it's time to attack across this map. The problem is, once again, we're seeing units left out on the map. These Cyclones and... okay, there's a bit of Marine Marauder at home, but he needs a few more units out to overpower a full 5 Cyclones. Meanwhile, though, this push is going to be scary. What is there at home? There's 3 Siege Tanks, 2 Vikings, and 2 Cyclones. Okay, I think that's enough to hold on here, as long as Forget's tanks at the front don't get sniped down too quickly. But I think with the tank at the back anchoring it, he should be okay. Lilu's just going to try and siege up out here. And, ooh, does try to move forward there with that tank. But, oh, Marine Marauder take a bit of damage as well. And it looks like Forget here holding on strong and solid. He's got the worker lead. He's got this defensive setup. And he's got those Cyclones still out on the map, which potentially could come in for a flank if he gets the opportunity. Oh, Viking takes out the only medevac as well. And oh no! No! The buyer is not on the front! Oh my god, the 5 Cyclones just dive on in and snipe the natural again. 9 minutes into the game, and Lilu is reset to 1 base. Oh no. Lilu's in so much trouble and he's had enough. He's like, screw you, man. These Cyclones are friggin' bullshit. This is unfair. There's such a sick siege tank defense though. Pulling SCVs into this is going to be so hard, but those Cyclones, they're not at home. Keep in mind, because he already had these tanks set up, Forget has no idea this is coming. He's even unsieging one of his tanks. Uh-oh, there's so much bio and SCVs coming down. He needs more tanks sieged on the high ground. Uh-oh, here we go. Lilu's, he's going for the desperate comeback. He's just going to pull SCVs. He's mad. He's angry. He's had his natural snipe twice. He's going to dive on in those Marauders doing work, blasting down two of the siege tanks almost instantly. Another siege tank on the high ground goes down. There's still two siege tanks anchoring in the back, but all the SCVs are gone. The Marine Marauder is out of control. Those Cyclones came in from the backside and actually cleaned up all the siege tanks, but all the bio stand strong. And Lilu there gets pissed off, pulls the boys, and manages to take it out. That's one of those things where like 90% of the time you get so mad, right? You just like, you lose your natural for the second time. This like Cyclone run by, you bang your table, you just box your SCVs and you just go. And 90% of the time that's not going to work. But Lilu made it happen, focused down those siege tanks because he already had the tank contain. Forget just had no idea that that was actually coming. So that actually worked out pretty well. Pull the boys. When in doubt, pull the boys. Alright guys, so we are going to be diving into the last game of today's daily. It's going to be a long one. It is a Zerg versus Terran. It's going to be a diamond level replay. I normally don't care too much what level the replays are, but I did just notice on the loading screen it was diamond, and it's been submitted, I believe, by our guy down here, whose name I recognize from Twitch chat and elsewhere. It is our Red Zerg Black Zord. Or Black Sword? I always forget. And his opponent, the Terran player, up here on the top left-hand side, our blue Terran, it is Mr. Bind. And it looks like Mr. Bind actually going to be going for a low-ground wall-off. Very cute. Very cute. Oz Crescendo, thank you so much for resubbing. It's our 2-year anniversary. Thank you very much, mate. I do really appreciate that. For anyone else who subs or tips or follows, I do want to give you guys all shout-outs, but I'll be doing that once this show's over. You guys watching on YouTube will notice that there aren't things popping onto my screen and Arnie talking about feeling very special when he's at the gym anymore. Trying to make the mental note every episode to try and turn those notifications off just for the daily, so you guys watching on YouTube don't have to get bothered by too much live interaction, which you are, of course, not a part of and missing out on. Oz Crescendo says, Cosmo ZVZ Pig. Are you talking about the one you submitted like months ago for like the very first daily, or did you submit one for this week? Because unfortunately this is the last one for this week, but I would love to do one of your replays sometime soon, man. Alright guys, so down here we've got Black Zord. He's going hatch first, hatch gas pool. This is cross map frost. It's kind of tough for a Terran to push across here because it is so big. That being said, the really interesting thing about this map is that both players really struggle to secure a 5th base. Like Terran can take a 3rd, he can take a 4th, and then it's like, and where do you get your 5th? It's like all the way over here. How do you get over there to defend so far, or all the way down here? You gotta like come all the way there from your 4th. Like, it's pretty tough for both players to take a 5th, so map control and counter attacks and hitting each other's economy gets really interesting in the later stages of this game. Oh, he left a little gap there. Wonder if he did that on purpose. Sometimes people like to leave a single space gap and leave their rally point on it, so if the enemy just A moves a counter attack, the Lings will all just headbutt up against the Marine. Personally, I think it's a bad decision, because I think it's always better to have a full wall and force them to use Banelings to break it, but we'll see. Either way, it is going to be a command center first opening, I believe this was, or at least it's a very early command center. I think it was CC first. And it is going to be into 2 barracks. So reactor in the wall, nice bunker up there. It is going to be a full wall now. And going to be adding a factory as well. So 2 barracks into a factory off just 1 gas. So this is going to be a nice opening. Probably going to be going into some just marine drops and that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, Black Zord here, going for that overlord speed. Wants to see everything that's going on the map. Just going to be kind of droning on up and getting that overlord speed for that scouting, of course. So as they spot that it's cross map, both players I think are going to settle in for a little bit of a longer game and do it. Oh wow, is it actually his birthday as well? I don't know. I'm gonna stop reading Twitch chat because I'll just get trolled. If it is your birthday, happy birthday, Crescendo. Creep's gonna be spreading out. That's a super fast double Evo chamber. Wow, before the third base even goes down. Black Sword's gonna have some sick upgrades, man. It's gonna have some very, very sick upgrades. Can you go out and take a third base now? Okay, cool. Gonna have a massive upgrade lead. But what is Mr. Bind gonna do? Mr. Bind here is actually gonna go double E base super early as well. All right, both players, man, they are gearing up for a macro game. Let's fast forward for like 2 minutes because this is gonna be one of those ones where both players just macro. So I just want to like fast forward a bit where literally nothing happens. As both players have just they're drinking tea right now. They shook hands beforehand. Like 10 minutes, no rush. Okay, we're getting to the point where some cool shit's happening. So these are both drop overlords, and those are a bunch of zerglings. So Black Sword here is actually ready to do a nice double overlord zergling drop. However, there's a good amount of marines and marauders at home. Stim's almost done, and there are 3 marines building at a time. That starport's on the way as well. So, I mean, if this hits when all those bio units are still at home, Mr. Bind might be able to get on top of it very quickly. Black Sword's going to have to be very careful with this. Black Sword actually still hasn't started double upgrades back at home either. Oh, Zerglings poke at the front. They see that all the units are there, and he's going to unload in the main. Mr. Bind has no idea about this. Oh, he's going to build a CC. He's going to spot it, but that CC is going to get cancelled, I think. One Zergling goes right onto it. The other one's diving to the mineral line, and this is a great drop here. The Zergling's doing big damage. Actually, a lot of those SCVs are getting away with just a few hit points. Only 3 SCVs have gone down so far, but these units are still in the base, causing a lot of lost mining time. There we go. Going to grab a few more SCVs. Great focus fire from Black Sword. And it looks like... Oh, man. Is he going to cancel that third? Oh, God. Watch the hit points. Watch the hit points. Oh, it gets cancelled. Single Zergling does his job very well. Black Sword, nice play. Building 16 drones behind it. Dropping a Baneling nest. And starting to just drone up that third base nice and hard. So Black Sword there, putting a nice bit of a spanner in the works here for Mr. Bind. And just doing a very good job. Finally, those 1-1 upgrades do start. However, I said he was going to have sick upgrades. It turns out Mr. Bind is actually the one with a massive upgrade lead right now. Not missing a beat on that armory timing either. He's actually in a really good position in terms of those tech and upgrades. He's got double medevac production on the way. He's going to be steadily working his way up to 5 barracks. The only thing really hurting Mr. Bind right now is just how slow that third command center is. So other than that, he's doing a pretty fantastic job. And he has frozen up in his SCV production a little bit as well. But 3 medevacs are working their way out. He just scanned the corners of the map because he literally had no idea where Black Sword was. 6.5 minutes into the game, scans the corners of the map to try and figure out where his opponent is. That is some... I think it's not Mr. Bind, it's Mr. Blind, man. This guy just likes... He's just like, I have a game plan. I don't care what you're doing. Only once I get these 3 medevacs am I actually going to push across the map. Meanwhile, though, we've got Baneling drops being prepared for Black Sword. Black Sword wants to keep up with his fancy aggression. Queens and Zerglings down here, but that's not that many Zerglings. And this is actually a lot of Marines, Marauders, and Widow Mines here. And, oh, faints for the main. The Zerglings run up there, and then he unloads everything down here at the third. Nice drop here from Mr. Bind. Does snipe down 1 Queen. Oh, no! Trader Mines! Instant replay. Oh my god, Trader Mines, man. Okay, so look at these Queens focusing down these medevacs. And then the Widow Mine shots actually take out one of the medevacs completely. And the Queens focus down the other one. Oh my god. Oh, you fucking traitors. Oh, you little pieces of shit right now. Mr. Bind is so angry right now. And to add insult to injury, Black Sword is coming in. Oh god. Oh god. Oh my god. 17 workers killed. Black Sword is all over Mr. Bind right now. He has got to be so mad. Trader Mines followed by a Baneling drop when he's not watching. Oh, and even these drop overlords survive while spotting the next drop. Oh, this is harsh. 4th base is now on the way down here for Black Sword. One problem is those Widow Mines. If we see drones transfer down there, they might just get massacred by those mines. So he's going to have to keep an eye out for those. In terms of the worker count, nice 55 drone economy for Black Sword. Hasn't like fully saturated the gases and so on. You know, he's not really at a full 3-base saturation. But after wrecking the natural of Mr. Bind, you know, he's way ahead in economy. He's in a very comfortable position. 2-2 is now starting. Meanwhile, it looks like +2 armor never started here for Mr. Bind, so he's only going to have 2-1. He will have a nice 2-1 lead there against just the 1-1 for a while, but is that going to be enough? Oh, nice defense here from Mr. Bind. Widowmine plus missile turrets is going to blast these overlords out of the sky. Every single Zergling drops there, but here comes another Baneling drop, but there's not that many SCVs to kill this time. Oh, does still get a pretty damn nice hit there. Does take out another 7 workers, brings it up to 25 total workers killed this game. Blacksword is just looking relentless right now, but these Widowmines on the other side, what did they just do? Oh, I don't think they got workers. And oh! 29 kill Widowmine, except half of those are his own Marines, so I don't know how much you know, work these Widowmines need to do to redeem themselves, but it's more than that. They need a few more hits like that, and then they're going to be forgiven. Let back into Terran society, made up for their disgusting tradiness. Blacksword is just going to keep Bane dropping it over and over, but Mr. Bind's reacted. He has added a turret. Any follow-up drops, they might be able to get the Banelings out, but it's going to be a one-way trip. The Overlord will go down. Finally, Blacksword cleans up those, sorry, guys. Oh, another decent Widowmine shot there. Does he get another one? Oh! Oh, shit. Alright, those Widowmines redeemed themselves. That was, oh my god. That was fucking, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, the Baneling drop comes in, Baneling speed, but the Banelings try to go for the Marauders, and he only actually gets about 3 or 4 SCVs. Yeah, 3 SCVs there. I mean, let's face it, 75 drones versus 40 SCVs, you're pretty happy with that? But, yeah, he's actually got 4 bases really well saturated. But Blacksword doesn't, oh, yeah, he's got a Macro. He's just going to spend his money, though. He's like got such a big eco lead. He's focusing so much on the counterattacks.
Yeah.
He's got to spend that 2,500 minerals, but oh, man, it doesn't even matter. He's just all over him. Blacksword's getting wrecked right now. Blacksword is wrecking. Mr. Bind is getting wrecked, I mean. This is so hard. He's got so many Widowmines up. He's actually getting 3-2 right now, so he will be back up at an upgrade lead for a little bit. Meanwhile, back at home, Hive and Spire. I think Blacksword's got Broodlords on his mind. Ooh, nice drop in the back from Mr. Bind here. The Baneling hit does not... Oh, there we go. Second Baneling hit does a good job. Still a decent trade for Mr. Bind so far. Going to boost on into that main base. The Ling Bane is starting to react, though. Uh-oh, Mr. Bind, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And none of those Widowmines do get off. Mr. Bind's going to keep doing the dance here, trying to kind of go one way, then the other. Does end up getting rejected and have to pull out. Blacksword, so solid right now. Building 50 Zerglings at a time. And oh my god, instant replay once again, because apparently I suck at observing. Look at this. While he was dealing with that drop, dancing up and down, Zerglings dive into the natural. And Mr. Bind's units didn't even chase, man. His lazy Terran unit starts tearing apart the SCVs there. Clears the entire third base, brings it up to 38 workers killed. Look in that bottom tab, 70 drones to 35 SCVs. That's double the worker count. Yet somehow, Mr. Bind is so on top of his muling and his production and spending all of his money that he's actually up 15 supply. Mr. Bind is just been taking blow after blow, but with his +3 weapons about to finish, he realizes he has a window open to him now where he's got that upgrade advantage. There's still going to be a long time before this Ultra Tech or potential Broodlord Tech kicks in. 3-3 is starting here, along with Adrenal Glands for Blacksword, but Blacksword, he just doesn't have that many units right now. He's still got great creep spread, though, all over the map. He's got it everywhere. He's got Ling Bane, but, oh, Mr. Bind's exploding into aggression, starting to equalize a little bit here, blasting the drones down from the high ground. Really good control here from Mr. Bind, and takes out so many Zerglings, lifts up. Meanwhile, clearing out Zerglings in the main while dropping here. Mr. Bind here, he's on fire. He is so angry about that early game, and he's just going to multitask like a madman to get back in this game. Look at this. Every single time, he cleans up the Zerglings in the front, and then he picks up just before the Banelings arrive, and then goes and drops somewhere else. Meanwhile, still in that base, he's just killed 25 workers. He's knocked Blacksword's worker count down to 50. He's doing huge damage. Mutas are coming out. Blacksword's had enough. He wants to shut down this drop for good, but he's losing a few mutas at the same time. Banelings do have to go in, and he's just lost so many drones. Up to over 30 workers killed here. This drop over here, was just completely ignored. Black Sword having too many alerts on his minimap at once. And Mr. Bind suddenly back in this game. Still though, Black Sword has a huge economy. The problem is only 14 lava right now. And he's going to be using it all on Zerglings. Oh, another Mutalisk goes down. Another push here. But Ultras are almost ready. Chitinous plating is about halfway done. Mr. Bind, all these Marines, which is the majority of his composition, are going to be useless once Ultras come out with chitinous plating. I mean, Black Sword, he's in a bad position. He was in a great position early. Mr. Bind's made a sick comeback happen, but now it's Black Swords who on the Black Swords who is Black Swords Black Sword who is on the back foot. I don't know why it's so hard to say that, but apparently it is. Mr. Bind here going to keep coming around the edges. He's got a lot of creep to push through. And I think that might just buy the time for 3-3 and that chitinous plating to finish. Oh, nice job there. Just rolling in a few Banelings, forcing a reaction. Keep in mind, there's still no fourth base here for the Terran player. Terran third mineral line is once again pretty exposed. Just these two Widow Mines, which keep doing friendly fire. Ooh, only one Zergling does survive there. The SCVs will be able to clean that up. And at the same time, a drop down here does pick off a few more drones. Down to just 44 workers. Oh man, this multitasking here is sick. At the same time as this distraction hits, guess what? Drop there. And an accidental Marine run by as well. I think they're trying to get in this dropship. Oh, but the Ultralisk is there to save the day this time. Cleaves through that entire drop. These Marines here just having a little bit of a walk around. Mr. Bind is in trouble now in terms of tech, but he's still got the army supply. He's still got the upgrade. No, he doesn't have the upgrade edge. He's going to be equal on upgrades. His +3 armor finishes, but he needs more Marauders and Liberators now to deal with this high-tech Ultralisk army. Black Sword's managed to hang on. He's managed to stabilize, and now both players are locked in a gridlock. Both players on reasonably low economies, but Black Sword has extra mineral lines to keep mining from. Mr. Bind does not. Mr. Bind's trying to float down his main orbital command center to get some more economy secured. Oh, these Widow Mines, oh my gosh. Oh man, looks like every single Mutalisk is coming in to do a bit of damage, but they're all getting blasted down. Although Ling Bane is gone, there's only a few Mutas left as well as these Ultras, and this is what we were talking about. There's just not that many Marauders. There's no Liberators either, so there's not much to kill the Ultralisks. Looks like Mr. Bind's gonna have to pull back for now. He does have that fourth mineral line secured. Keep in mind, even though, yeah, he doesn't have as many bases to mine from, he has these beautiful little golden badasses who are going to mine him 225 minerals a trip, or an existence, I should say. And they're going to do really well with that, but oh, Mutalisk's getting blasted down here. The Widow Mine's getting some big hits, unfortunately, on the Medivacs once again, but they do damage these Ultras. Problem is, there's no Marauders here. These Marines are doing half a damage or 1 damage a shot. Look at this, the Ultralisks just don't care, man. You need about 400 Marines to actually take down Ultras. Oh no, I think Black Sword might have done it here, man. His Ultras are running around on that map. All those Medivacs got heavily bruised. He's making more Ling Bane Muta right now. Keep in mind, he can't afford to replenish these units, though. The supply is still very even. If Mr. Bind can just micro for his life, he might somehow still have a chance, even against the GG Lisks. But, oh, he's trying to drop down here. More Marines and Marauders, but the splash damage. The bio's too clumped up. They're taking too much damage. There's only one Ultralisk left, though. It's the very last Ultralisk. How is Mr. Bind going to deal with it? Finally, gets in the bunker. That bunker's going to tank a lot of damage. These Marauders are going to get the work done, and that last Ultralisk is forced to turn tail and run, but not before that fourth base got completely ravaged. Almost went down. And back down to 29 workers is our Terran player. But, oh wow, Widow Mines are actually going to take out some of those Ultras. One Ultralisk does go down there. Black Sword here trying to rebuild that drone count. He still has a full base there available. He's got this base here. He's got a massive gas bank, but he's so low on minerals right now. And remember what I said, these bases are so hard to defend. If a drop ever gets in here without him spotting it, he will lose that base so quickly. Mr. Bind, meanwhile, also going to be floating his natural down into a very dangerous 5th location. Ooh, has to drop a mule to stop that orbital burning down. Barely does save that. But right now it's just Marine, Marauder, Widow Mine versus Ultra Ling Bane. This is a losing fight for the Terran unless he can micro his little heart out. He's building 4 Marauders at a time now, which is going to help him get the counter up, but he's still going to need to stutter step for days. Luckily for him, he does still have 10 Medivacs up. As long as he doesn't kill them with any more Widow Mine friendly fire, then he should be okay. But Black Sword is adding in Infestors right now. 3 Infestors up in that production tab. Those are going to change the equation quite a bit. If the bio ever gets clumped up and hit by a fungal, he's just going to lose it so suddenly. Mr. Bind going to start dropping. This is a good move. Even though it does get spotted coming down here, that's going to force Black Zord to split. Meanwhile, it looks like Mr. Bind might start pushing the creep back in the middle of the map at the same time. And there we go, that base, it's so exposed. He's just going to be able to abuse this ledge here. For anti-air, there's only a single Mutalisk as well as the Queens. So even just picking off a few drones for free here is going to be a very nice pickup. Nice Baneling connections, though, does take a lot of the damage out of this drop. This 5th base still unscouted. Black Zord, he's trying to just build up more of these units. He's got 7 Corruptors on the way as well, actually. And he's actually rebuilt to 70 drones. Black Zord here has managed to rebuild that economy after a very dicey mid-game. Ooh, that medevac gets blasted out of the sky by the Queens. The Queen's trying to respread a bit of creep here, knowing that it's so important for them to connect all of the bases, but Mr. Bind with a huge gambit. He sent every single dropship down here, and he's just going to try and doom drop this base. He knows that this base is so important, but no, he's dropping on the high ground. Oh, Mr. Bind, you can't snipe the base from up there. All you can do is kill a drone or two. Looks like he's just going to settle for that for the moment, just trying to be annoying, but they're corrupted. There are Corruptors out now. They're all flying across the map to meet up with this army. He may get cornered. Oh, okay, if he uses this high ground, this can work out really well. Focusing down these Ultras beautifully. One Ultralisk falls. Second Ultralisk almost goes down as well. Actually, Mr. Bind really using this map positioning to his advantage. The problem is Black Zord doesn't know about that 5th base. If he just sent units to attack that right now, he'd be able to wipe it out. But Mr. Bind forcing himself into this really awkward position where he just sets up here, and suddenly he knows Black Zord has got pressure on. He knows Black Zord's feeling the stress. And look at that, he's just going to poke from the high ground, being as annoying as possible. The Queens are going to try and come to combat this, but the bio stims on top. A lot of this bio actually going down onto the low ground. Oh, Mr. Bind getting a little bit confused there with his positioning. But Black Zord just hanging on for now. He's got that sick economy. He's got so much mineral income right now. Let's actually take a look at that income tab. I think Mr. Bind is ahead right now with mules, but he's not mining any gas as well. And as those mules die out, he should be way behind on that income with only 29 SCVs. Here we go, the bio coming in, grabbing a few more drone kills, just picking off whatever he can for free. A decent fungal there, but great Widowmine shot as well. These trades are always going to be in Bind's favor. Black Zord needs to get across that map. He needs to do some sort of counterattack aggression, but Bind here just using some brilliant positioning to really force Black Zord out of this corner of the map. Black Zord realizes he can't take it. He's given up. He's just going to push up to this top right-hand side of the map. He still doesn't know about this base. He assumes there must be a base up here, and then he sees there's nothing. He's got to be so confused. He's wondering, where the hell is your mining at right now? He's himself trying to expand to the top right-hand side of the map, but Black Zord doesn't realize there's just this completely undefended base sitting right in the open. Mr. Bind with some ballsy positioning and by constantly keeping the pressure up has just forced Black Zord to not be ready for this. Oh, it's P time, boys. Corruptors dropping their caustic spray all over that orbital command center, blasts it down to oblivion, and does manage to snipe out a base, finally hitting the economy. Another orbital command being caught by the Corruptors. That Ultralisk will go down there, but losing 2 orbital commands is really big. That's a significant portion of Bind's income. Nice fungal as well, but this is a choke point. The Ultralisks, oh, I mean, they get sick fungals, but I think there's just too much Terran firepower here. The medevac healing is still strong. There's still 8 medevacs alive, and now there's nothing left on the ground for Black Zord. He's building more Corruptors right now. That's the last thing he needs. Does he have a Great Spire? No, he doesn't. He's massing Corruptors. He needs Ultralisks. Bind is just constantly fighting in such a dogged position that I feel like Black Zord's freaking out just a little bit here. His mining is really low. He's finally reestablishing this base. But even with that, you see here, 13 drones trying to mine 1 mineral patch. This base here starting to run low. Black Zord's feeling the tension, feeling the stress. And right now, Bind is pushing across this map. He knows he's within striking distance of this base, and there's nothing on the ground to defend it. Black Zord still doesn't realize there's a bare open base there. Mr. Bind, sneaky expansion, getting him back in this game, man. Oh, the Ultras come in. There's only 2 Ultras left there, though. Oh, Widow Mines on the Corruptors get some massive hits. The Marines start chewing through them. All the medevacs are going down. Corruptor for medevac trade. But I think at the end of the day, that favors the Terran player. He can replace those medevacs a little bit easier than those Corruptors can be replaced right now. Oh, those Ultralisks pop out into a concave of Marauders and all get shot to shit. 3 more Ultralisks are on the way. How could Black Zord make this happen? How could he come back from here? I don't know. I think right now Bind has got it. The only way Black Zord could make this happen would be some insane fungal growth. He's got a lot of energy in the bank. And if he finds this expansion, If he could get just a few Zerglings over there, suddenly Bind's income is going to go down to 0. But for the moment, that's not the case. Bind is constantly building Marauders, Marines, and Mines, and he's up at 140 army supply versus just 58. This is such a hard position for Blacksword. Bind fighting his way back from that initial early game where he took so much damage. Just steadily fighting his way, time after time. Finally, we see a Zergling counterattack. If that can intercept reinforcements, that might work very well. Banelings in the mix do have the potential to get massive hits on this army when it's clumped up. But Fungal really is the key thing which will get the work done. This is such a big ball, you'd actually need like 4 Fungal growths to kill this. I think that's the only way you could make this happen. But nonetheless, such a swingy game back and forwards. It really has been massive. We see finally Blacksword's trying to sneak an expansion. He's got so few minerals to work with. He cannot afford to lose that though. Zerglings here going in. He waits to see if there's any Widow Mines, realizes there's not, and comes in and oh, if this pulls Bind's army back, it may save his expansion. Bind does not know there's a hatchery that's been rebuilt there. These Zerglings going to be picking off units as they pop. Ooh, does get one Widow Mine. The other Widow Mine does a bit of friendly fire, but does clean up those Zerglings as well. The Adrenal Zerglings, look how quickly they kill barracks if they don't have building armor. Adrenal plus 3 Zerglings, oh my god. The reason this is doing so much damage though, it isn't killing a barracks or two. That doesn't really matter, but keeping that base alive through the distraction is the most important thing. And there are more and more Ultras on the way. And keep in mind, Bind still does not have Liberators. So even though he's got this sick Marauder count, he still does not have the real sort of hard counter type unit for the Ultralisks. And after killing the anti-air, Liberators really are what would make this perfect. There's only 4 Corruptors left for Blacksword. So that Zergling counterattack bought him a lot of time. He's going to be able to get a little bit of mining up there. But keep in mind, this base almost completely out. This base is completely out. Hardly any minerals. He's got, what, 200 minerals there? He probably should mine that, actually. But he's got almost no mining. So if this base dies, and Blacksword doesn't have another hatch up somewhere else, he's out of this game. He's going to have to long distance mine at that point. He doesn't have Infestors. He does have 6 Ultralisks. That's a decent count. If he can come in with a flank with the Banelings, he still has a chance of making this happen. He's scanning the top right is Mr. Bind. He's taken this extra base down here. He's got 2 bases mining right now. He is maxed out with 170 army supply. This is just insane. Mr. Bind slowly, man. Like, he just was so patient about it. I also love those trader mines steadily paying themselves back, but he's just got such a good army for killing Zerglings and Banelings, and pretty damn good for killing Ultralisks as well right now. Oh, he is on creep. He's deep on creep. This may be Blacksword's chance. He's got to set up the sickest engage of all time. He's going to go for it. No, he's not going to go for it. Okay, sends a few Banelings in first. Pulls back, but his Ultras are kind of trapped behind each other. Good starter step from Bind. Those Banelings actually get a few decent hits. These Corruptors blasting these Medevacs pretty well. The Ultras are getting the surface area. Oh my god. Those Banelings actually killed off every Widow Mine without letting them fight. Okay, there are a few Widow Mines back here, but the Ultras are getting the surface area. Mr. Bind, he's spending more time running than shooting. His units aren't stemmed. Oh my god. What the hell did I... Ultralisks. Apparently Space Cows are pretty good at StarCraft. What the hell did we just watch? What? No! That doesn't even make sense. Like, okay, we need to watch that fight again because that actually makes no sense. Like, I get Ultralisks are good, and right now there's like a whole bunch of Terran players out there like, you see how broken this is, but like, okay, like, yes, being that deep on creep was kind of silly. There was no reason for him to do that, especially when the expansion's around the edge of the map, but still, come on, like, we need to watch that fight one more time. I think he must have mismicroed really badly. Like, the only explanation for this is that those Marauders, like, weren't fighting most of the time. Like, I'm pretty sure most of the Widow Mines just got blown up and didn't do anything. So there's, like, 7 Widow Mines in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 Widow Mines, as well as those 3 back there, right? Keep in mind, this is a 100 army supply difference with equal upgrades. Yes, there's only 5 medevacs, but that's fine. You'd rather have more damage output. So let's watch this in slow-mo. Because I'm like so confused. Okay, so two Widow Mines go down, and he takes a bit of splash damage. He does stem, starter steps. Those other Widow Mines all die without firing. Okay, one Widow Mine fires. But, check this out. The Marauders aren't fighting. They're spending their... Oh, wow. So he stims. Move, shoot. Move, shoot. But look at this. All those Marine Marauder at the back aren't fighting. So he's only stutter stepping with a few of his units. Because those units at the back were too far away. And now he's move commanding half of his army. And the stims run out and he didn't stim again. And he's just move commanding. And these units are rallying in as well. Oh no. This is literally a reenactment of so many of my TVZ games. Where I panic because it's late game and I just don't micro properly. And especially on creep, you need to have like the sickest, just pre-spread, good setup micro. The Ultra Splash was so massive, the units were so clumped up. I mean, he really should have been pre-spread a little bit more. And when he was microing, rather than trying to stutter step in a ball, I think he should have just spread his stuff out and pull it back in like sections, you know? Oh man. Anyway, apparently, never give up when you have Ultralisks out, guys. That's the message of today's show. That was an insane game. That was actually really cool because Zerg was in such a good position after he crushed the triple medevac drop. So he did damage with the Zergling drop, then he crushed the counter drop and dropped Banelings and killed 17 SCVs. It was so far ahead. But then Mr. Bind just came back with like multi-pronged drops. His Widow Mines that were, shot down his own drop, then just killed like 30 Banelings and Zerglings. And then he actually just kept on staying in there and actually making it happen. And really, the key there is that hidden expansion in that bottom left. It's such a dangerous position. It was so close to where their armies were the whole time. At a certain point, as Black Sword, you just like assume that there's no base there because you're like, well, we've been fighting around that area. Like I would have seen it. It's like actually, you never got vision of that base, and that was the only mining that Bind had. But Black Sword still came back in the end with the creep spread, allowing that melee army to close in and kill it all. So that was sick. All right, guys. So please do submit your replays for next week's ICYFAR. It's going to be Worker Massacre. Your games where workers die. I don't care how they die. This is a super easy one to find replays of. Any game where there's a lot of harassment or just workers dying all over the place. The more workers that die, the better. So yeah, send those replays in. The information is down below in the YouTube description. It's also in chat as well. I don't know if I've changed the message in chat. I'll change it now if I haven't. Okay, I haven't changed the message. I'll change that. Anyway, for you guys watching on YouTube, that's all for now. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow at the normal time. Keep in mind, guys, the show will be starting an hour earlier than it used to if you're in the Northern Hemisphere because Daylight Savings has just started for me. So I will be starting at 10 p.m. Central European. Maths. 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern for US. For you guys on stream, hang around. For you guys on YouTube, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hug a watermelon, kick a walrus, and of course, punch a cactus to the moon. I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye and good night. For you guys watching on the stream,